Since I'm going to be talking about the Backrooms, or just Backrooms, I guess there was no the in the movie title, which is about liminal spaces, or in particular one set of liminal spaces that has a very distinctive look and has caused such a sensation on in YouTube videos over the past few years. I thought I would give you all this look at something that's kind of liminal. As far as what liminal actually means, it seems liminal refers to light, and but when people talk about liminal spaces, they seem to be talking about places that are kind of eerie and spooky and seem neither here nor there. Seem like they're out of a dream, possibly a nightmare. Where the lighting has something to do with it. There's a dark and there's a light. There are dark places and lighter places, and then there are strange little compartments that branch out, and suddenly you're heading downwards and down a tunnel. And well, anyway, everybody knows what the back rooms look like, and if you don't, and you're interested, just type in Backrooms and watch some videos. You'll probably just get stuff about the movie Backrooms if you just type in Backrooms now. But go to Kane Pixel's channel. Kane Pixels is the creator. He's not the one who made up the Backrooms, but he's the one who has used the Backrooms storyline or idea in a way that's gotten the most hits, and he himself has become a YouTube star, a YouTube sensation. His real name is Kane Parsons. He's only 20 years old. He's just a kid. He's from the UK, which I didn't know before yesterday, or the day before yesterday. And so they finally made a movie about the Backrooms, and the movie is called Backrooms. Now, this movie has done really well in addition to Obsession, these two low-budget horror movies without big names in them. They've both, really struck it big at the box office, while larger budgeted, stuff that's supposed to be summer fare that people call slop, Mandalorian, Grogu, and so forth. Those kinds of movies are floundering at the box office, but Backrooms is doing really, really well, as is Obsession. Now, I've declined to see Obsession for the reasons I've given in another video, but that's just my particular choice. And I'm not telling anyone what they should or shouldn't see, but there's no misandry in Backrooms. So I was able to buy a ticket to it without feeling like I was just going to get a lecture on so-called toxic maleness or whatever. Even though one of the characters is, not has a lot of problems, and he is a man. The movie's not about his toxic maleness, whatever the hell that is. It's it's the what is the movie about? The movie is an attempt to kind of understand what the Backrooms are, and what function they serve, what they represent. And we have two main characters in this movie. The first is this guy, and he's a frustrated architect. He's somebody who wants to be an architect, but hasn't been able to get a position anywhere. So he's instead running this general store that doesn't seem to be getting very much traffic. He doesn't seem to it doesn't seem to be a terribly successful venture. We find out, in his therapy sessions with a woman also becomes the second major character in the movie. We find out that he had a difficult marriage, uh, and it fell apart, and so this guy's not really happy with the way his life is going. He's got big ambitions, and they're being thwarted, and he's quite frustrated about that. And in an early scene, which you maybe have seen, he dresses up like a pirate, and does a spot for his try to get people to come to his store, and buy stuff. And it's sort of like the store is like a how do I describe the store? It's just like it's got furniture, it's got doohickeys, doodads, um, and there's an upstairs portion and there's a downstairs portion, and it's carpeted. It's all carpeted in yellow. And then what he finds out one night when he goes down, the he finds that the lights are doing something funny, so he calls in this lighting guy to try to figure out what the deal is with the electricity. And the lighting guy is all flummoxed. He says there's something really weird about the whole setup of the lights in this office building. Um, Now, our hero, or our quote unquote hero, he didn't purchase or he didn't build this space. He's just occupying it for his business. And so what he eventually finds is that there's a spot in the wall where in the downstairs part of the building, where the wall suddenly becomes permeable, and he is able to walk through the wall. He finds, or at first he puts his hand against it, and finds that it's going through, and then he pulls it back, but he's curious, and then puts something, peeks his head through, and then eventually puts his whole body through, and starts exploring this liminal territory that is the Backrooms. And he finds that there's a lot of weird things there. There's a backwards stop sign. There's furniture. There are chairs and stuff that just seem to be fused into the floor or the walls. And the back rooms, have a very distinctive look to them. Most of the back rooms, it's just a section of um of rooms without much of anything in them, that are all yellow with yellow carpeting, and then long hallways that lead to other rooms. And again, there are places where it branches off, or where there's a very small tunnel that leads to some other place, and there's a section with water. Um, all the stuff that you see in the Backrooms videos. So he becomes obsessed with what's really going on in these rooms, and he actually makes a map of the place. And he takes his two of his employees with him one time, and trouble ensues, and stuff, weird and scary stuff starts happening. Um, but he comes back and tries to tell the therapist about it. The therapist is kind of by the way, this is all set in the as it seems like most of the Backrooms videos are. This is all set in the pre-digital age. This is set during the analog times. I thought it was the 80s. It turns out I think the year is officially 1990, um, which is a significant year that I'm doing some writing about for, but that's a different issue entirely. But it's just kind of a interesting intersection between the movie and between what I'm writing right now. Um, so there's no internet. There's no cell phones. They have stuff that comes on TV, and it's just like old timey looking, or stuff that looks like it's from the period, that looks dated. Um, both the both the both the main guy, the struggling would be architect guy, and the therapist, they both have ads or PSAs. For her, it's more of a PSA, a spot, where she's talking about she's written some books, and but they both live alone. There's a lot of parallels between the two of them, the lives that they're living. Anyway, he gets obsessed. He shows her this map that he found, or that he made, of the place, and then he just takes off, and nobody sees him again for several days. So the therapist lady decides she's going to go find out what's going on. She goes to the store, finds that the doors have been closed for a few days, that the mail has not been collected. It's all been stuffed under the door, and nobody's picked any of the mail up. She goes inside and goes downstairs and sees that a part of the wall is marked with tape. And soon she's discovering this part of the wall that's permeable, and she too enters the back rooms. Um, and she finds him, and I don't want to give too much away, but then again, it's this is the movie that's big on atmospherics, but there aren't that many real questions that are answered concerning the back rooms, concerning what's going on down there. Eventually, she also finds that there's some scientists who have burrowed their way in, and one of them interrogates her, and once, but he's very loath to tell her very much about what's really going on, and the movie ends on a cliffhanger. Now, this is a horror movie, and there are some spooky moments. There's some kind of scary moments, but it's more the horror really more comes out of just the atmosphere, which is there's an atmosphere of dread and paranoia, and just the feeling of being stuck somewhere that's completely surreal, but also there's some malignancy to it, and there are some creatures that live down there, and some of them seem to resemble us, but they're like bad AI copies of us. There's just like on a you conjure up an AI image, and sometimes it has six fingers. For whatever reason, AI has a difficult time with hands. Um, or there are other things that just don't look right, that look uncanny. Um, and so we come, eventually we see that uh, we are stalked by, or or perhaps it feels that stalking is the best word, but I don't know. There's another way of putting it, but we meet with our counterparts uh, who are down there, and they're grotesque, you know, replicas of ourselves. Just like the Backrooms is kind of a grotesque replica of the real world, except in this nightmare, this absurdist nightmare, MC Escher esque, sort of realm. And and I guess the question arrives, like what are like you spend enough time down there, and you meet up with your double, and then trouble ensues. And I'm not going to give anything more away than that. I would say that Backrooms is a movie I quite enjoyed. I thought it was extremely watchable. I thought the acting was very good. I guess some might, if you're really hardcore, you might grumble about the fact they cast a black guy as the lead. I don't. To me, it didn't bother me at all. I understand affirmative action casting is lame, but in this case, I thought the actor did a really good job, and him being black didn't really have any bearing on on who his character was, or the struggles that he was enduring. It was more just you know just there was it's universal kind of stuff, that we can all to some extent understand, even when he kind of loses his mind a little bit. It's kind of eerily relatable. So this is a horror movie, but again, the horror mostly comes not from events that happen or from scary monsters, although the AI replicas are certainly eerie, and dread inducing. But it's more just about the atmosphere of the place. And what I like about the movie is that it explores some things about what the back rooms are, and even has some people try to explain them, but ultimately leaves a lot of questions unanswered. So because I think part of what makes the back rooms interesting is the fact that they're so mysterious. Like, why are they there? Why do people find themselves in these rooms? Who built them, uh, or were they built? Did they just somehow crop up on their own? Are they like a reflection of reality, or another dimension of reality? Um, none of these questions are really satisfactorily answered. But that's I've said this before, that sometimes ambiguity is can be very satisfying, and that was the case, I thought, here with this movie. It was not. It's not the best. It's not like. I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but I thought it was a very good movie, and I hope there is a sequel. and interested to see where things go from here. So that's my review of Backrooms. Have you seen it? What do you think?